Love after 60. The 5 emotional needs older men crave in relations. When people talk about men in love after 60, they often make it sound simple, as if all a man ever needs is a little respect and a warm hug. I smile when I hear that because it misses the quiet truth I've seen in my own life and in the lives of so many men our age. What a man wants in a relationship is far more delicate than flowers, flattery, or long speeches. It is something most women never think about, not because they are unkind, but because no one ever told them what truly shapes the heart of an older man. Hi, welcome back to my channel, it's Vernon again. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 emotional needs older men crave most in relationships after 60, needs that nearly 85% of women don't realize are there. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future conversations about love, connection, and emotional truth. After 60 now, let's begin with the first emotional need most older men carry silently. Number 1. To feel emotionally safe without having to explain himself. One of the deepest emotional needs older men carry is the need to feel emotionally safe, not physically, not financially, but emotionally safe enough to speak without being corrected, safe enough to be quiet without being questioned, safe enough to exist without having to justify who they are or how they feel. Many older men have spent a lifetime being evaluated at work, in marriage, in family roles. They learned early that emotions should be managed, controlled, or kept private. Over time, that habit turns into silence, not because they have nothing to say, but because they're tired of explaining themselves to be understood. What most women don't realize is that when an older man opens up slowly, hesitantly, he's not being distant, he's testing safety. He's watching to see whether his thoughts will be met with patience, whether his feelings will be accepted or immediately analyzed. When a man feels emotionally safe with a woman, the change is often subtle, but deeply meaningful. He no longer feels the need to perform, defend, or stay emotionally alert. His guard softens, his presence becomes steadier, more genuine. Instead of offering polished stories or rehearsed opinions, he begins to share the parts of himself that are less certain, his doubts, his reflections, the questions he's still carrying. This kind of openness after 60 is rare because it's risky. Older men have learned, sometimes painfully, that honesty can be misunderstood. So when they sense that they won't be judged, corrected, or emotionally punished for speaking truthfully, they open up slowly and carefully, not because they are weak, but because they are wise enough to protect what matters. And that's why emotional safety isn't an added benefit for older men. Without it, connection remains surface level and cautious. With it, intimacy grows naturally, trust deepens, and a man feels free to bring his full unguarded self into the relationship. Next, we will explore the second emotional need older men crave after 60, the need to feel respected for who they are now, not measured by who they used to be. Number 2. To feel respected for who he is now, not judged by his past. After 60, respect takes on a very different meaning for men. It's no longer about status, income, or how much they can provide. It's about being seen accurately in the present moment. Many older men carry a quiet fear that they're still being measured against earlier versions of themselves, who they were at their peak, what they used to do, or what they failed to become. What they crave instead is recognition for who they are now, their values, their boundaries, their hard-earned wisdom. The issue when a woman speaks to an older man with genuine respect, not admiration, not flattery, but calm acknowledgement, it restores something deeply personal. It tells him that his worth hasn't expired with age. This is why dismissive comments, subtle comparisons, or even well-intended advice, they can feel like reminders that he's being evaluated rather than accepted. Respect for an older man means being trusted in his judgment and allowed to define himself without correction. When a man feels respected in this way, he becomes emotionally generous. He listens more openly, he engages more deeply. He gives not out of obligation, but out of choice. And in relationships after 60, that kind of respect doesn't just strengthen attraction, it sustains it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever felt truly respected for who you are now, rather than compared to who you used to be? Share your experience in the comments. Sometimes reflecting on that question brings more clarity than we expect. And from there, the focus shifts to something even more delicate. A need older men seldom talk about yet carry deeply. Wanting to feel emotionally needed, without feeling like they've become an emotional weight in someone else's life. Number 3. To feel emotionally needed without becoming an emotional burden. Many older men carry a quiet contradiction inside them. They want to feel needed, but they are deeply afraid of becoming a burden. Earlier in life, being needed often meant being useful, providing, fixing. But later in life, those roles shift, and emotional need takes on a more delicate meaning. What older men crave isn't dependence, it's relevance. They want to know that their presence matters emotionally, that their listening, their steadiness, their perspective still have a place in someone else's life. At the same time, they fear being leaned on too heavily, becoming responsible for someone else's emotional stability, or being seen as the solution to problems they can't fix. This is where many relationships quietly struggle when a man begins to pull back, not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't want to fail at something he can no longer carry alone. But when emotional need is expressed as appreciation, rather than demand, I value you being here, not I need you to hold me up, something opens. In that space, an older man experiences something rare. He feels valued without feeling trapped. He knows his presence matters, yet he doesn't feel responsible for carrying someone else's emotional weight. That freedom changes how he shows up. He listens more openly, offers support more willingly, and stays emotionally engaged, because there's no pressure attached to his care. Issue when giving doesn't come with the fear of exhaustion. Generosity becomes natural. He isn't guarding his energy or pulling back to protect himself. Instead, he gives because he wants to, not because he feels obligated to, and that difference is everything later in life. Obligation drains love, choice sustains it. This balance, being needed without being burdened, allows intimacy to feel light, even when life is heavy. It creates a bond that's steady rather than intense, secure rather than consuming. Love, at this stage, survives not by asking for more, but by respecting limits. The issue, once that sense of balance is in place, something even more personal comes into focus: whether a man feels genuinely recognized and understood, not just included in the relationship he's building now. Number 4. To feel truly seen, not just accepted. Being tolerated, accommodated, or simply fit into someone's life doesn't satisfy the deeper emotional hunger they carry. What they crave instead is to be seen not as a role, not as a companion of convenience, but as a whole person with inner depth. Many older men have learned to make themselves easy to live with. They adapt, they simplify, they keep certain thoughts to themselves over time. This creates relationships where they are accepted on the surface, but never fully understood underneath. And while that may look peaceful, it often feels quietly lonely. His values, his silences, the way his past shaped him without defining him. It means she's curious about how he thinks, not just how he behaves. She doesn't rush to label him or assume she already knows who he is. When a man feels truly seen, it reaches far deeper than simple appreciation. Issue, it tells him that his inner life matters, his thoughts, his pauses, the parts of himself he rarely voices. He no longer feels invisible or reduced to a role. Instead, he feels recognized as a whole human being, shaped by experience, reflection, and quiet strength. He doesn't have to perform, explain, or simplify himself to be understood. He can show up honestly, knowing that his complexity won't be dismissed or overlooked. And after 60, that feeling is rare. Many men have spent years being valued for what they provide, not for who they are, not out of dependency but out of trust. Bulk. He feels grounded, respected, and emotionally at home, and that sense of being fully seen often becomes one of the strongest reasons an older man stays deeply invested in a relationship. Take a moment to like this video. It helps keep these conversations going and reaches others who may be quietly feeling the same way. When a man finally feels seen for who he truly is, attention naturally turns to one last need, the quiet factor that decides whether a relationship after 60 feels merely comforting or genuinely lasting. Number 5. To feel chosen, not settled. For after 60, many men carry a quiet sensitivity they rarely speak about. It's the fear of being settled for rather than genuinely chosen. Not chosen out of convenience, comfort, or timing, but chosen because someone truly wants them, exactly as they are now. Earlier in life, for ambition, for what they might become later in life that shifts. And when a relationship feels like a practical arrangement, rather than an intentional choice, something inside a man slowly withdraws. Even if everything looks fine on the surface, what older men crave is the feeling that their presence is desired, that a woman is with them because she values who they are, their rhythm, their way of seeing the world, their emotional steadiness, not because it was easier than being alone. When a man truly feels chosen, something inside him softens. He no longer feels the need to protect himself by holding back or staying emotionally cautious. Instead, he settles into the relationship with a quiet confidence. He gives more of himself not because he's afraid of losing the connection, but because he finally trusts it. Emotional investment stops feeling risky and starts feeling natural. Being chosen tells him that the relationship isn't happening by circumstance or convenience. It reassures him that he's not simply filling a role or fitting into a gap in someone else's life. Love in that moment feels mutual and intentional. It's something two people are actively participating in, not something he's passively accepting. Later in life, love no longer grows through grand gestures or dramatic promises. Those things feel fragile with time. What deepens love after 60 is certainty, the calm knowing that you are wanted, not tolerated, desired, not depended on. And when an older man feels that certainty, it becomes a powerful anchor. It grounds him emotionally, strengthens and commitment, and allows love to endure with dignity, steadiness, and quiet depth. As men move beyond 60, love becomes less about chasing and more about belonging. The emotional needs we've talked about aren't dramatic or demanding. They're quiet, deeply human longings, shaped by years of experience. The need to feel safe, respected, needed, without pressure, truly seen, and intentionally chosen. What many people misunderstand is that these needs don't make older men fragile. They make them honest after a lifetime of giving, fixing, and enduring. What remains is a desire for connection that feels steady, mutual, and real. When these needs are met, a man doesn't cling to love, he settles into it. Calmly, fully. Love after 60 isn't about intensity or proving anything to the world. It's about certainty, about knowing where you stand, about being able to rest emotionally in the presence of another person. And when that kind of love exists, it doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. If this conversation resonated with you, please take a moment to like this video. It really helps the channel grow and reach others who may need to hear these insights. Feel free to share it with someone you care about, especially if it reflects your own experiences or relationships. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss our future videos. I'm Vernon. Thank you for watching my video till now, and see you next time.